Hello and welcome to another episode of What's on the Pile. I'm Nathan Bezner, and with me is Jenner, Jane, Hsien, and Wagner. I've really shortened the opening, so I hope you
Oh,
guys don't mind.
I'm cool
oh,
with it.
I had an intro line.
Oh,
I was going to make a
Wagner.
joke, but don't worry about it.
Do them.
And you
You
have
go
to
first.
understand me. I'm a scientist.
So Spalding Gray is sitting at a table, and he's a monologist, you see, and he's talking about this novel that he keeps writing. Monster in the Closet. I thought Monster in a Box.
Oh.
It's the month of Halloween, and you know what that means. Horror movies all month, because we sure never do horror. We're starting off with a PG-rated satire of 50s B movies from the writer of Free Willy 3: The Rescue, called Monster in the Closet, a movie that absolutely terrified me as a child, and I have no idea why. Released by Troma, although not made by them, Monster in the Closet tells the story of reporter Richard Clark, played by Donald Grant, who went on to have a number of one-episode credits on IMDb. See, a monster has been dragging people into the closet and eating them, including John Carradine as a blind guy doing an impression of Lloyd Kaufman imitating a blind guy. The folks at the newspaper think Richard sucks shit, and so they send him on a wild goose chase to report on this supposed monster, which nobody believes in. That doesn't last long. About half an hour in, the monster forgoes closets entirely, busting out of the houses instead of using the door handle, then starts flexing in the streets at the police, who subsequently are killed and forced to run. We'll talk about that later, all of it. This movie has a whole bunch of actors whose credits are too long to name just one movie, like Howard Duff, who has like 300 credits, Claude Atkins, Henry Gibson, who everybody remembers from The Burbs, but horror fans remember from fucking so other things, like
No,
Joe
from
Dante fans.
Magnolia, mostly.
Really?
Frickin' Nashville.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
not-
He's the guy taunting William H Macy in the bar in Magnolia.
Oh yes,
Very
yes.
memorable role. Small but memorable role.
Donald Moffat,
Donald Moffat.
Paul Dooley, and many, many more. There are like Kevin
Oh,
Richard
Paul
Hall.
Walker.
Paul
Yeah.
Walker's first role.
All right, let me finish the script with my final sentence. Fast and the Furious fans might have seen this, as it was Paul Walker's first role. Jenner.
I did it too. It wasn't Jenner.
I was literally saying it.
I would say, as a point of order, Running Scared fans may remember this as Paul Walker's first role.
Oh yes, all two of us.
That movie in Japan, I think.
Yeah, I did.
I
I love
just
that
assumed
movie.
it was a different Paul Walker, but
No, same one.
No,
No.
I looked it up.
No, I was
to make sure.
Apparently, this was shot in '83 and then just not released until '86, which accounts for
Or 87.
yeah.
There are conflicting reports I've found.
as young as Walker seems in this, he feels like he's younger than he should be, even given the time frame. So yeah, no, I only found out just reading up on the background that it was an '83 production. Interestingly, if you look at the list of backers at the end of the movie, it's kind of amazing. Especially Jonathan Frakes and Jerry O'Connell turn up in there. It feels almost like a Kickstarter list would in a movie these days.
yeah.
Wouldn't Jerry
in
O'Connell
under
have been a child though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was around the time of Stand By Me.
And he backed a movie like that.
Yeah, and it was Jonathan Frakes before anybody knew who the hell he was. So hey,
Special thanks. Also thanked Ringo Starr and oh shoot, what's the
Horace
the famous
Ackerman, of
monster
course.
guy? Horace Ackerman. Thank you.
Yeah, amongst others. Harry Nilsson was in there.
Mhm.
Weirdly
Weird.
enough, I remember Harry Nilsson was kind of hanging out with Ringo Starr around then, although I don't really remember why.
I want to look at this list.
Also the first appearance by Fergie from
Fergie.
well, Fergie. Okay, yeah.
From the Black Eyed Peas.
Apparently.
Yeah, she plays Lucy, the little girl.
Really?
The little brat who gets
It's
eaten
a
at the
Yes.
beginning?
Yes.
It's
Okay,
a
use your free
strange. It's a strange collection of people they got on board for
the one with the-
Okay. Let's go back because we're a little off format right now. We're just jumping into this thing. Nobody has any idea what we're talking about or what this is. This is Monster in the Closet. It is a satire. First, I would like to ask how many of you hadn't seen it?
Never
3 of
heard
you.
of it.
Yeah, never even heard of it. Jenner had definitely seen it.
like I say, I think I may have caught the same up all night screening you did.
Yeah. This, what did you all think of it? First and foremost, just base reaction.
I think I would have loved it 35 years ago. And I don't know what's wrong with me now that I was kind of like, that's kind of funny, whatever. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm jaded and old and horrible now. But I would have loved it in my early 20s, late teens. I would have thought it was the best thing ever.
I would have liked it when I was 10 years old. I don't think this movie would have scared me. For me, the thing was always gore, and this is PG. It has boobs in it. I think I would have loved it as a kid. As an adult, I don't really know what to say about it. It was okay. I thought the captions were amusing.
Yeah.
Which looked like they were like ripped off of the screenplay. They just put them in there, like evening, house, or I like my favorite was the following Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
like, they don't even know.
2:45-ish.
Yeah.
I like when they threw up the second counter down. It was rolling the seconds by.
Yeah.
This is just slightly left of center of where I live, because this is like low budget, try hard entertainment with a couple of surprisingly good bits in there, but in general, kind of hard to suggest anybody else hunt down because it kind of doesn't fill out its full hour and a half time frame there. It's amusing, but these days probably not amusing enough for me to get other people to watch it.
I have a question. In the first Alien movie, did the xenomorph have the mouth inside the mouth, or was that later?
No, that's
always been there. That goes
there.
back to the first. That's always been there.
Okay, the only time I seem to only have been aware of it in Alien 3 because it was so prominent in the ads. So I was just wondering if this was a ripoff of Alien or maybe it inspired. Clearly, this was a ripoff. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It did not invent.
Well, it's a parody, so I wouldn't say ripoff per se.
The mouth thing was absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the mouth thing was the actual alien, and that other thing was the suit it was in. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the exosuit.
I kind of like that idea.
I thought that as well for a moment.
Really?
I mean, what kind of creature evolves anywhere in the universe that can't close its freaking mouth?
It looks like his face looks like Arseface.
From Preacher?
Yeah, from Preacher.
Well, I mean, the lead that we're kind of burying here is that this is a deeply slight and silly movie.
Mm-hmm.
I realize deeply slight is kind of an oxymoron in its own right, but it is a slight and silly movie with a monster that is absolute fucking nightmare fuel. That was the bit that stuck with me, probably from, as I say, the same USA Up All Night viewing that you probably caught back in the day, or at least one of around the same time. They did a lot of Troma back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the monster in this is freaking terrifying. There is nothing about the monster that is not freaking terrifying. But the movie around it is just kind of cheerfully ridiculous with a surprisingly deep well of weapons-grade character actors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting as much as anything else as basically an early crowd-funded movie to all appearances and a Troma release that is less tacky than the usual Troma release, and in the meantime, just an historical curiosity, not least for having been actually fairly critically acclaimed at the time it came out, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Even Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars, which is not normal for Roger Ebert, and even a horror adjacent movie during that period.
Well, has anybody read some of the theories behind this film?
No.
What would you say would be the underlying theme of the movie?
Superman as a human dude.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
he's wearing glasses and he takes
Yeah.
them off and he's Superman.
I think it's hilarious that it's the lady
And he
loses
works
the
at the
glasses
Daily
and becomes
Globe.
sexy trope from
Exactly.
the 90s, but it's in reverse and it predates it.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, he worked
yeah,
at the
but-
Daily Globe instead of Daily Planet. His name was Clark. He wore glasses, and when he took them off, he was kind of
Superman.
super powerful human guy. But
Well,
yes, he was also
Super attractive.
sexy
yeah.
librarian, and they also had that lovely montage, that sort of MacGyver montage of them setting up the electricity, which was so 80s. I just loved it.
My favorite montage was destroying the closets.
Yeah, I was going to say
Oh,
that,
no,
that one.
really
That
good,
was the
yeah.
other thing that kind of stuck with me about the movie.
That was
That-
my favorite part of the movie.
That was the most
I mean,
film
The
of
samurai.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
the Japanese man with the sword.
Yeah.
I mean, calling the movie "Monster in the Closet" sets you up for a very particular sort of coding. That, to be honest, aside from the monster falling for a guy at the climax of the movie, I struggled to find any
Find it in
greater
there?
depth in,
That
I
is
think that was like
exactly
a
what
reverse
I was
King
thinking.
Kong, basically, at the end.
Yeah, they do.
including the quotes.
Yeah, reference. Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
there is an underlying underlying homoerotic okay, here's the theory, which is probably not true, but I prefer to believe it's true, so it is. Is that the entire film is about repression of being gay in the 80s leading to death. In that, the monster itself in the closet, when it comes out, it's this rage-fueled beast. It specifically has it's like got big six packs. It's got a six pack and it's flexing. It actually flexes almost every time it goes.
Well, I think that's because the guy inside the suit had to put one arm out the mouth.
Well, no. I'm talking.
It does have oral action for days.
It does, but I'm talking about like when you have the long shots and both arms are moving, not when it has the lame arm. What?
Yeah. What else is he gonna do? He's not given any props to work with. He can't see where he's going.
But to have a monster come out and be like, yeah, like a Dragon Ball character is fucking amazing. It's magical. I love that. I wish all horror movie characters would do that. It would be like, oh, there's the big monster, and it's Jason Voorhees, and it's like.
He kind of does that in Jason 8, but.
Anyway, it basically the idea is that the monster itself is the representative of gay rage and repression being kept in the closet, and the falling in love with this person and focusing on them becomes it has come out of the closet. It is starting to be itself. It's starting to communicate a little bit. It's still a rage monster that just lashes out at shit around it, but it's starting to realize who it is. And that's when everybody destroys the closets and it cannot get back into the closet. But it's going to die if it doesn't get into the closet. So it tries to get into the closet, can't get into the closet with the guy, sheds a tear, and decides to die rather than go back in the closet with his new love. And so that's kind of the idea behind the whole breaking through the barriers of repression in the 80s, but at the same time dealing with the, at the time it wasn't full blown yet, but full blown Jesus, AIDS epidemic in the in the gay community. I did not mean to phrase it that way. I apologize.
All right.
So I absolutely agree that theme is in there, and it's what they built around it. It's what they built around to make a movie.
It is under-articulated.
What they used to build around that theme had nothing to do with it. The rest of this is totally silly, and there's this single theme that you're wandering through the movie and you're like, oh my god, there's something going on over there. Also fart joke.
There's also that 15. There's also that 15-minute smack in the movie, in the middle of the movie, where abso-frickin-lutely nothing happens. They're ostensibly looking for the monster, but nothing happens for 15 minutes.
That was so intentional. That was such troll behavior to just have that fucking ding, 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 just going constantly for 10 solid minutes to the point where they have it redone in the end credits. I really think that they were like mocking.
Trolling the audience.
Yeah,
I literally fell asleep until that part was over, and then I woke up. I was like, "Okay, it's back on again."
That scene went on for so long. I figure they had to stretch it out to make it a feature.
I mean, another scene that went on for forever, but also I thought was kind of amusing was the shower scene. Not just because the news
that was funny.
Yeah,
that was actually funny. I thought that was hilarious. Now he's forgetting Paul freaking Dooley and Stella Stevens.
It's Family Guy where they run the joke into the ground until it becomes funny again because he keeps showing up. I think it goes 4 times he shows up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god! But the 4th time I thought was funny.
And I love that she lived and he was the victim.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hilarious because I was like, oh, she's in the shower. She wasn't near a closet, so.
What's interesting is that had they exclusively built around that theme, it would have all been men being killed in the closet, right?
True.
Yeah.
So the women all would have been safe since that was the specific chosen theme we were going for. But we killed a little girl in the closet, and we killed the old man's dog in the closet, and there's a bunch of other stuff. So I absolutely believe that theme is there. It is absolutely profoundly there, especially in the closing moments.
Yeah.
But everything they built around it was just for the sake of silliness and trolling. So
it is an under-articulated theme. It is not quite the on a scale of I don't know. It wants Rocky Horror levels of queerness with I don't know. 1950 with them levels of actual execution. That's.
I guess you can make a like a correlation between the 50s and gay culture starting to.
Well, I mean, Lord knows Richard O'Brien and Jim Sharman did.
Yeah.
It's just this does not get its message across, and believe me, I was looking for it.
Yeah,
it's there, but it doesn't hit.
It's not.
It's a lot of the monster. The monster creature feature stuff was all very 50s with the little genius kid coming up with the device to destroy the monster, and we send out the entire National Guard. And how stunned was everyone else when at least 2, maybe 3 actual tanks showed up on the set of this movie?
Yeah.
I was absolutely like, wow, where'd they get that budget?
They thanked the National Guard in the ending, so I guess that's where
okay.
from.
Yeah, he withstood tank attacks. It was like, well, let's just use this little doorway, which he walks around. I love how he starts to walk around the track.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do now?
And you see if it had been an actual Troma movie, then it would have just been a piece of stock footage that they reused repeatedly.
Which they did with the.
I did notice that. That felt more Troma than almost anything else in the movie.
Also, how much do you think Nestle Crunch paid to be in this movie?
I know. I was thinking I was watching a Korean drama.
I'll give you $1.
I mean, during that era, this is probably around the same time as one of my childhood favorites, Flight of the Navigator, and Nestle Crunch is in that a lot too. That movie always made me want a Nestle Crunch.
Maybe they were just throwing money at everything at that point.
Yeah.
It's like Coke's got the product placement. Pepsi's got the product placement with the James Bond movies. Why don't we get some Crunch up in some motion pictures? Here's $50. Go throw a Crunch bar in there.
Seriously, the whole Reese's Pieces thing was huge when E.T. came out. I mean, you couldn't buy them.
Spielberg is such a slut.
So big.
Yeah.
I don't blame it. And it was actually worked in the movie. I mean, it worked for it. I didn't think it was like one of those, oh, look at that product placement. It was more like, oh, hey, they actually made it work.
I was like 6, and I was like, wow, look at that product placement. I didn't have the words for it yet at that point.
I don't imagine 6-year-old you in the theater like, no.
Is this a commercial for Reese's Pieces?
I these days I wonder, if there's anything on this planet that an alien is likely to be allergic to, it's peanut butter, based on our own experience with severe allergic reactions in the human system.
Well,
that's an interesting idea. Somebody should run with that.
I like this movie. I enjoy it. I find it funny because it includes some of the things that I always want to see in movies that never happen, like the military showing up and just unloading on a monster and it doesn't do shit. And the next time you see the military guy, he's like, no, you don't get it. I don't care if you have a theory. I'm getting the fuck out of town. Bye.
That was good.
That was I love that.
Or to your point, the army lines up around a house and says, "Come out or we're coming in," and the monster comes out.
Yes!
I was absolutely stunned. I did not know that was going to happen in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite monster things. That's probably one of the things that stuck with me for so long with this movie is that. I love that.
Did you figure out what it was about it that terrified you so much?
No.
Do you remember the head within the mouth thing?
I wonder if I'm conflating memories or something.
You're sure it wasn't the deadly spawn that freaked you out so much?
I've never seen the deadly spawn.
Ooh,
I know. It's not.
It's like this, but a little better.
Yeah. No, I enjoy this movie. I like shitty humor. I love bad movies. The stupider the humor, the better for me, because it's not just that the movie is bad, but it also is so intentionally bad that it becomes entertaining for me to watch. Like even the jokes where I'm being trolled, I appreciate them, and because I appreciate the construction and idea behind them, it makes me love the movie, regardless of how people feel about it.
I normally feel the same way, and I just was like, "Am I jaded or what?" Because the jokes landed, and I was like, "Oh, ha ha," but I didn't love it, and I feel like there's something wrong with it.
As I say, for my own part, I found it more slight than either than I had hoped for or than I had remembered. I didn't dislike it. I don't feel my time was wasted. I feel confident I can probably go another 30 years without deliberately watching it again.
This movie had a boom entering the screen and going out, and you don't know whether it was satire or on accident.
Or indeed just a quirk of the framing.
Yeah, or a framing thing. But you don't know. You can't make that call. You will never be able to know. And that's what I like about it. I like shit like that.
We need to go back and revisit There's Nothing Out There one of these days.
That is principally remembered for one awesomely executed joke with a boom mic.
Yeah.
That above and beyond anything anyone else has ever done with the boom mic. But,
greatest boom mic joke ever, followed by the bit in Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite is probably the best parody of that particular style that has ever been made. The when the guy. My favorite part of that movie, when they're in a fight scene and one guy actually hits Black Dynamite and he goes, "Motherfucker!" It just cuts and it's a new guy.
It was Michael Jai White accidentally hit the other guy.
Oh, that was it.
Switch him out.
That was it.
Motherfucker! And then they switch over to a new stunt guy there.
And he's like half the size.
Have you ever seen Chillerama?
Yes. Yeah. Also a lot of fun.
To a large part, I don't like that film, but there is one extremely objectionable black and white sequence in there. It's a semi-anthology in which the monster does a throw on a Nazi, and it swaps to a black stuntman crashing through something. And then it cuts to the original actor getting up. So it's got a very similar theme there. It also has a really great point where Frankenstein is trying to break through a door and can't break through the door, and he just walks he walks downstage and peeks around the edge of the set. He just goes around the edge of the set and attacks them.
Was Chillerama Brett Piper?
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
I've got it around.
I know he did some movie like that. I just don't remember whether it was that. Piper is interesting. We should actually explore him further one of these days. But anyway, yeah.
This writer-director didn't go on to do shit.
There's a lot of producing credits and a few writing credits.
A few? They're like 40 writing credits.
Yeah, a lot of writing credits.
But it's a lot of like nothing.
Yeah, he stayed busy. He stayed employed.
He made his masterpiece early. He had nothing more to prove, and he went on to write instead.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia and the alternate page, and I love that the DVD covers the best blurb they could find for it was pleasant fun, straightforward satire.
Even the fact that is on the cover makes me love it more.
It's like when Independence Day came out on VHS, the best blurb they could find was, I think David Denby said something like, undeniably entertaining. That movie's aged well, but it was Anyway, I mean, it was from Judith Christ, so at least it was a name reviewer at the time. That said, if I recall correctly, Ebert actually rather liked this. So I don't know, maybe they were trying to sort of downplay it for the packaging there. Kaufman and Hertz are the kind of guys who would probably go with a 2 thumbs down if they ever got reviewed by Siskel and Ebert in the first place on the packaging. The only other person who could get away with that was David Lynch for Lost Highway.
Well, I don't think any of you have anything else to say about this movie, and I've said my piece. So I would like to use the what? Do you have more?
Just a tiny bit. I was more than a little surprised to find out this wasn't a Troma release, because I would have put it in sort of the higher tier Troma films. Troma has always been something that I should love, but kind of don't.
Well, they didn't. They did release it. They just didn't produce it.
Yeah, I know. It's always just Troma productions have always been just a little too stupid for me, and I should love them. I should love Nuke 'Em High, but it's a little too stupid. I should love Toxic Avenger, but the writing is just dumb as hell. And this was a little bit better than that.
I will throw down for Tromeo and Juliet and Terra Firma, but I'm actually with you for most of the rest of it.
Yeah. A lot of them do exactly what they're intended to do for me, which is make me uncomfortable. Like the scene in Toxic Avenger where the kid gets run over on the bike, which is objectively hilarious to have this. To take this idea of these bad people, how can we show them being bad? What's the worst thing we can possibly do? Let's just mutilate a child. And yes, that is great as a parody. That is very funny. I can't watch that scene. It is so upsetting to me because the way their effects are, they're very raw, and because they're made from just junk that they find in the backyard, and when you see the kid actually his dead body on the ground, it looks real. It looks like an actual dead body. It looks fake at the same time. Like you can tell where the mask is, you can tell where things have been put and placed and all that. But the way they staged it is so accurate to, if you have ever seen that kind of thing, seen somebody who has been killed by being run over and all that, which is awful, and I do not recommend anybody ever do that. It's very, very accurate, and it makes me uncomfortable to the point where I am not amused by it, and it defeats the purpose of the movie. So yeah, I feel kind of the same way as you, Wagner.
Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Well, I have a good segue for this movie. Okay. I watched a movie directly after watching this one that I also hadn't seen since I was about 8. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
which I have not seen.
I finally watched that, I think, last year.
I've watched it recently.
Haven't seen it in ages, but saw it so many times, specifically on the late night broadcast with Elvira hosting over and over and over again back in the day. So yeah,
I've had some time for it to forget the lyrics of the theme song and all of that. And that movie still just destroys me. It's so funny. It is a level of comedy that they never achieve again with the Killer Tomatoes movies. You think? What do you think? Which one is there one you like?
No, I thought you said never achieve again, and I was gonna say Airplane because it feels a little suckerish.
In the history of film, you mean?
But then you got to other tomato films.
Yes.
I cannot think of a musical track in any film soundtrack as devastating as Puberty Love. Either in the even Slim Whitman in Mars Attacks doesn't quite have the same oomph that falsetto had in that movie.
I really enjoyed watching it again. I actually didn't watch the whole thing because I got about halfway and had to do some other stuff to prepare for the show and everything, but I'm going to go finish it later.
Actually, another little shout out also for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the kind of human voice emulation of whatever noise, in the case of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the tomatoes were supposed to be making, and whoever was doing the sounds for the monster in Monster in the Closet does add a lot to the comic effect of it all. It's a nice incidental detail. I'd love to know who was doing the looping on it.
Cookie Monster was doing Monster in the Closet.
Really? Oh wow.
No, I said Cookie Monster. He's not real.
I thought you meant the voice.
No, I didn't mean the voice actor. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I do refer to people by their character names a lot. Yeah,
like Predator was the monster in the closet.
Right.
Before Predator, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might have got him the job. When Van Damme screwed up.
Let's not ignore how good that monster suit was, because the teeth on the edge of that open mouth are articulated and moving, and the eyes are like
the monster remains creepy as balls in every conceivable regard.
I'm convinced that's what I was scared of, was just the monster.
Yeah, that's fair. That was the bit that stuck with me, other than other than the montage of destroying the closet.
I've got it.
The two big ones that stuck with me. Yeah.
This movie is gay camp made by straight people.
No. I'd say again, same thing as before. That yes, gay camp made by straight people is that thin line of meat with a whole bunch of fat on either side of it.
Yeah,
I can absolutely see it.
Yeah.
But that's not what most of the movie is.
Can't actually vouch for Bob Dolan one way or another, so that may actually be an overreach just in terms of the framing.
I wonder if the thing that, because as a kid, I was always kind of sort of working on the logic of monsters and, how you would defeat Frankenstein and how you would defeat Dracula and all stuff like that. And this is a monster who walks out of the closet, out of the house, and the entire army unloads on him. And either they can't hit him or he's just like an illusion or something. But
to be fair, their aim was the pants.
It was terrible.
But they couldn't blow up anything near the suit and ruin it. That was the entire budget.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they were all stormtroopers. They were so bad.
Basically nothing, the army unloading on it, nothing could stop this monster. And that would be logically scary to me as a kid, because this is a monster who nothing could stop no matter what you did.
The whole world clears out for this one monster walking around in one place. Everyone just abandons their homes, or the streets are all empty or whatever, just this one monster. So I guess it's that scary to everybody there.
Well, I like it. And I like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes too. And I like that style of film.
Well, All right.
Like I said, this is where I live. This is the ridiculous shit I look for. So
we're kind of like between areas at the like should I move on to away from Monster in the Closet, or should we go back to it? Do you guys want to talk about it more?
I think we're probably kind of covered here.
Okay.
I like it okay. I don't think it fully lands. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah. I enjoy it because it's goofy and stupid, and I love that. Okay, well, I watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, some of it. I actually, the big thing that I watched with Amelia was Fiona and Cake. We finished that, and it was absolutely magnificent.
Really?
Yeah.
what is that?
I'll have to go and check
You
it
know
out.
Adventure
I'm
Time?
interested. Oh yeah, I love Adventure Time.
They're Fiona and Cake are the gender reversed versions of Jake and Finn, and they have their own show, and the show is called Fiona and Cake, and they are ostensibly the stars, but it's really about the Ice King, who at the end of the series lost his crown and became a normal person again, named Simon Petrikov, and lost the love of his life, who turned into a chaos god.
Okay, didn't see that coming.
So that's the end of his story in Adventure Time, is his girlfriend turns into a chaos god and he's sad. This series ends his storyline, basically. It takes that storyline and gives it a great ending. There have been these projects since Adventure Time ended, like they did Distant Lands, was BMO-centric, and BMO just went off to different planets and stuff, and there was Princess Bubblegum and Marceline the Vampire Queen had a full thing about their relationship, and
Gave me that.
yeah.
I love that one.
But yeah, Fiona and Cake, I highly recommend. It's more adult than I expected it to be, in that it's not like it's violent or anything. It's just it's unflinching with problems that you have in regards to being in your late 20s, early 30s, and thinking the world is ending because you're worthless, and general depression, different mental health issues. It leans hard on this shit. Like Simon has pretty heavy PTSD and can't get out of his depression funk to the point where it is actually physically hurting other people. And
who is Simon?
The Ice King.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Anyway, Adventure Time has come a long way since 2010. In 13 years, it has grown up quite nicely with the kids who are watching it, and I've been watching it since the get-go. I'm not a kid. I wasn't a kid when I watched it. It was just awesome.
Trey liked it a lot, and so we watched it a bunch.
Yeah.
Probably another one of those ones I need to get back to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Anyway,
never got into it, but I somehow stumbled over the later series and was completely lost. But, still followed it for a while in there, so I've seen some of it.
I recommend it to everybody. I also finally watched something that was on my pile, which I probably should have saved for Horror Month, but Amelia was begging to see an A24 film, and we were looking through them, and I was like,
I'm sorry, is that how she phrased it?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she only watches A24 right now.
We love her so much.
Wow.
Or is it them? We love them so much.
I'm not sure right now. It changes.
Okay.
She, by the way, she watched Monster in the Closet with me and left 30 minutes in, calling it the most boring movie she'd ever seen. So, just so you guys know, she did not care. She was like, "This is nothing. This isn't Talk to Me. This is like she's really into that movie right now. She enjoyed it. But no, she loves A24, and we were flipping around. We wanted to watch a horror movie because it's Halloween month, Jess and I. So we picked out The Vitch.
Yay!
Oh, you hadn't seen that before?
That's a
Nope.
favorite. I love that.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I remember liking
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had not seen it.
Oh.
Had not been spoiled because the baby getting eaten is the only thing that had been spoiled for
Oh,
me. Everything
baby
else.
wasn't eaten.
What?
The baby's dead, but he's not eaten.
Oh, I thought he was eaten.
No, this has to do with actual witch folklore.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that. Jess kept looking up facts and telling them to me throughout the movie.
The body fat of an unbaptized
Oh,
child
yeah, you put it all over
used
yourself.
to make the ointment that lets you fly.
Yeah.
Which we got from Warlock, which we covered a while back on this program.
That's right. Okay.
P. Julian Sands.
Well, I knew that
when we did that movie? I think he was still alive.
He was still alive.
He was still alive. Rest his soul.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the lady who what's her name from Days of Our Lives from Monster in the Closet, I've forgotten her name.
Something that starts with a D. Damn it.
Yeah.
I want to say Daphne du Maurier, but that's not right.
Denise DuBarry.
Denise DuBarry.
Yeah. She was starting to make a comeback late in her career. She kind of walked away and came back and started producing shit, and then died of a fungal infection.
Ooh.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It was like she was. Yeah. So anyway, fun fact. Yeah, so we saw the witch.
So anyways, the witch, lighter fare by comparison.
Yes.
And of course, where we got Anya Taylor-Joy, at least as far as any of us know.
Yeah, that's... well, no, I guess I first saw her on the Queen's Gambit, because I hadn't seen the witch.
That's probably where most people know her from.
Yeah, the witch is a lot earlier. But yeah.
She was also Illyana from New Mutants.
She was also in Split.
I didn't see New Mutants.
The witch was before all of that
stuff. Yeah, we know that. We're not saying that. We're naming.
You don't understand how obsessed I was over Illyana Rasputin from the Marvel comics. Single favorite character in all of Marvel Comics. He did okay. New Mutants is not as bad a film as they told you it was, but it's not spectacular.
It's messy.
Kind of like it. That said, I still haven't bothered to get a copy of it, so...
I have a DVD.
I think it's a one-watcher. You got everything you needed out of it with one watch. Why own it?
Yeah. But
The Vitch, on the other hand, stars all around from the entire household. We all fucking love that movie. It was so good.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
When we saw them flying at the... Amelia jumped up and was like clapping. And she was like, she got the fuck out of that shitty family. Well, she didn't say it like that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
the message they were trying to give you, but okay, yeah.
This is kind of elegant timing since it may have gotten around earlier, but I guess just encountered an indication today that Robert Eggers has wrapped on his remake of Nosferatu, so I am very excited about how that is going to go. And of course, if you haven't seen The Lighthouse, well, there's more fun ahead of you there anyway.
I'm told that I should... I want to see that. I'm told that I should not watch The Lighthouse with Amelia.
I would say not.
No,
probably not.
but it's great. Oh, good.
I saw that in theaters.
I asked Jamie today, and he was like, "No, there's a masturbation scene," and I was like, "Okay, so no." He's like, "No, their dicks are out."
Yeah, dicks are out. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, "Okay,
I still love that movie."
I want to see it. I still haven't.
The movie's a joy. It's. I would be interested in your take on the ending. Even so.
I love the witch, so I assume that I'm probably gonna like Eggers.
So the witch, the very end bit when she's actually signing the deal, is like an acid test for. Not for friends of mine, but for people online. If you think that the whole thing about do you like the taste of butter on your... What is it? Like the taste of butter?
Yeah.
If you think that's stupid, I don't need to listen to your commentary.
Right.
If you think that was really well done, I'm going to listen to the opinions you have.
That was the best part. That's we said that we kept saying that to each other. Would you like a taste of butter? But you have to say it as a whisper. Would you like the taste of butter?
It's so well conceived because that's like the only exposure to extravagance this girl would have had. Is the one thing she gets like very rarely she could have as much of as she wants. Like you're not going to offer her all these things she's never fucking heard of before.
Meantime, Black Phillip In the meantime, Black Phillip ended up so iconic he turned up on one of the middle seasons of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He apparently also did gore some people. So
Yeah, Black Phillip was a dick.
yeah, apparently he really did hurt people.
Fuck.
Like
Yeah.
real actors were hurt
Because he's
by
a
this.
freaking goat. Okay, they do not known for their temperaments, or rather known for their temperaments. They have bad temperaments.
No, yeah, we really liked it in the household. We'll see The Lighthouse next, probably. Who else wants to share what they've watched? Because that's it for me.
Jenner and I wanted to talk about who has seen the new Wes Anderson clips on Netflix.
Yeah.
The shorts.
Wes Anderson, what?
Shorts.
The shorts, the Roald Dahl shorts.
I haven't seen a Wes Anderson since Grand Budapest. I think I'm done with him.
Really?
I think I'm
You didn't
allergic
like
to
Grand
him.
Budapest?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Hsien on that one.
I didn't hate Grand Budapest. I'm just tired of his. I just can't anymore with his stuff.
Well, these are 17-minute. There are two 17-minute ones and one 39-minute one.
Yeah.
And the 17-minute ones were maybe a little bit too hard for me. But
I thought they were interesting in that they were the closest thing that Anderson has made to actual horror movies. They don't quite cross that Rubicon just yet, but they're sort of fascinating in their own right. But they are essentially actors, famous actors for the most part, on screen, narrating, usually at a very fast clip and with relatively little inflection, the actual content of the original Roald Dahl story. So amongst other things, they're remarkably accurate adaptations. The Swan, which is dark as fuck.
And child endangerment without actually having it's a lot. It was really hard on me.
That's a hard one.
I was like sitting there, like tears running down my face, going, "Wes Anderson, why? Why would you do this?" And then I had to watch something happy. It was terrible.
Followed by the Rat Catcher, which is more in line with sort of Dahl's kind of hewing a bit closer than usual to sort of mid-century British, horror / mysterious fiction. It's a fun little piece in its own right and rather nasty, and has all of these things have an absolute tour de force by Ralph Fiennes, sometimes as Roald Dahl himself and sometimes not. But the wonderful story of Henry Sugar, this is going to sound like one of those blurbs, actually lives up to its name. It is one of the most delightful bits of business I have seen in an exceedingly long time. Absolutely amazing work by, again, Fiennes as Dahl himself, although not entirely. Richard Ayoade, Dev Patel, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley. It's kind of a beaut.
It is.
And if you have Netflix, it doesn't cost you anything, so you don't have anything to lose.
It's 40 minutes. Do it.
I think they may have actually slipped out another one since then. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet. But granted, I have not given up on Wes Anderson. I did kind of love these, and they're very they are similar to Anderson's stuff. They definitely have that direct address at the camera thing going all over the place, but they're kind of a lot closer than to their source material. So as much as anything else, it's mostly about seeing how fast famous actors can talk. I like them. I like them very, very much. I thought they were kind of amazing.
The effects were amazing. The whole
they play like stage pieces more.
They
than
do.
anything.
They have stage parts coming down, and the way they do the levitation was adorable. I won't say how because you have to see it, but it was like just delightful. I love them. So.
Have any of you seen Asteroid City yet?
I have Asteroid City, but I have not seen it yet.
I thought we watched some of it, didn't we? Or no, it was something else that we.
No, we didn't get to that one.
Okay.
I was just curious.
I am told it's a joy. Apparently, the background on how Anderson's Roald Dahl adaptations got made is kind of interesting in its own right, because he didn't want to work with Netflix. It's just that the Dahl estate had sold the rights, so he had to.
Well, the Netflix had done the Matilda redo musical
Yeah.
thing, which was entirely unnecessary. So I'm imagining they sold the rights in a whole lump rather than individual rights.
In all likelihood. Anything else you wanted to address, Jane?
No, just been watching more, Korean dramas, and I love this. I'm watching one now called Record of Youth. It stars the girl who played the art therapist in Parasite, and the sister.
Oh yeah.
And she's really good in it, and all the people in it are like super, and I really like it. But the funny thing is, it's about these male models, and it's sponsored by Krispy Kreme. So they're constantly eating donuts. These beautiful young men just eating sugary donuts.
Yeah, props to Krispy Kreme for having a presence in the Far East. Right on.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Wow.
sponsored by Subway,
Well,
BMW, Krispy Kreme. There's a couple more, like,
look,
very
they're
American
not gonna
things
get-
in there. It's not American,
Yeah.
European.
they're not going to keep up with the world trends on diabetes by themselves. So
That's true.
Have you seen do you ever watch the John Oliver's show on HBO?
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
I
That just
saw
came back.
Yeah.
The Subway. I
Do you
want to see the Subway. I haven't watched it. It's on YouTube. The
Yep.
Subway
It's amazing.
drama.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like an hour, isn't it? Like the whole thing is like an hour or 4. It's like not a 16 episode thing.
What? John Oliver?
No, the Subway drama.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I've never watched
he covered
it.
that. We saw that episode of John Oliver. He covered
Yeah,
that
but
a while
I didn't.
back.
But I didn't see the actual show.
Okay.
I saw the
Okay.
John Oliver thing on it, and I laughed.
I mean,
And now every time I see Subway, I'm like,
yeah.
The Record of Youth must have been like held in somewhat high regard before production because Subway was in the first episode. I'm always
that
like,
never happens.
that never happens. It's usually like if it's doing really well, it might be an 8 or 10. Usually it's more like toward the end, but no, it was in the first episode, and our hero actually worked in the Subway. So
To be fair to product placement, there are people who act like that in real life. There are people who go to Subway and be like, "Man, this sandwich is great." And I don't know who they are, but they exist. So maybe it's a more realistic world where you have two characters eating Subway together saying, "Man, it's a really good sandwich.
They're
love
talking
you."
about other things, but then every once in a while, like, one will be like shocked and holding their sandwich, and they'll be like, "Finish your sandwich; it's really good." And they'll be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
No one should. Yeah, but no one should ever say that at Subway. Other places,
I
maybe.
love Subway,
Really?
but I
Oh.
will say that
Subway is just fine.
I was watching
I
another
was-
my 50
another one of the
bucks.
dramas, and it was about a girl who was an assistant writer on a drama, and how she would have to shoehorn things in. It was like her job to make things fit. And one of the things was a Segway. So the guy who's like having some sort of crisis is driving down the middle of the highway on a Segway going, "Ah!"
That's a heck of an image in its own right, to be fair.
yeah.
Great. It was great. I don't remember the name of that one, but
You were going to say something, Wagner?
It had more to do with Subway. It's not really worth it.
Okay.
Move on.
I love Subway.
I did forget to
Absolutely.
mention one thing that I just remembered that I've been watching. I've been watching every night before bed. I am watching an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Well, I've been jumping around. I've been doing a bunch of top 10
Oh.
lists to remind myself of episodes, but I've watched Carrion Feeder. That's the one with Kyle MacLachlan as a prison escapee. It's disgusting. It's a great episode. The ventriloquist dummy episode, one of my favorites, with
Mhm.
Bobcat
That's
Goldthwait
Bobcat Goldthwait.
and Don Rickles.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
I forgot Don Rickles was the first ventriloquist, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, I've forgotten that.
The Death of Some Salesman, which has 4 characters, but only stars 2 actors. Oh God damn it! I'm gonna forget his name. Tim Curry plays 3 of the characters. Plays like a farmer husband, farmer wife, and their farmer daughter, and they're all creepy as hell. And
Tim Curry could do that.
the dude who was the first guy in Hollywood to drive an electric car and had
Thanks.
what?
Ed Begley Jr.
Yes,
Ed Begley Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
How
He
do
is
you
the
know him
same.
that way?
Because that's
Sorry.
like a big deal.
That was a huge joke for years, which I just think about that every so often. Like that's what everybody wants to buy now are electric cars, and I'm like that fucker had a pretty. He was ahead of his time, and everybody made fun of him.
I did.
So I always think of that. Anyway, yeah, just a bunch of them. I've been watching a bunch of episodes, and I watched the one with Malcolm McDowell and George Wendt last night.
Is that the one where McDowell was a vampire and working at a blood bank?
Yes, and it's
good episode.
It is
ages since I've seen it.
The Reluctant Vampire, that's what it's called. Has the most wonderful ending of any Tales from the Crypt. It's wonderful.
I don't remember it. How does it end?
George Wendt okay. This Van Helsing, played by the guy from The Hills Have Eyes, with these Coke bottle glasses. It looks really creepy.
Michael Berryman?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Is Van Helsing hunting down vampires. He teams up with Paul Gleason, who is the police chief, and Gleason's like, "Oh, vampires, you're an idiot." But everything looks like vampires. And eventually, George Wendt figures out that Malcolm McDowell has been taking and putting back blood by killing hoodlums. And so George Wendt comes in and he's like, "You're going to keep doing that, but you're going to do it for me now and make me money. And I won't tell." He has a gun on him. And he's like, I won't tell anybody. And it's actually a water pistol with holy water. Anyway, eventually Malcolm McDowell gets the upper hand and knocks out George Wendt, but then they hear the cops coming, and so they're like, "Quick, throw him in there!" And they throw George Wendt in the coffin and close it and just hide behind a table. And then the cops all come in, and Van Helsing is like, "I know where your killer is," and Paul Gleason's like, "Holy shit!" And he opens the casket, and they're all just staring at it, and then Berryman just the Van Helsing pulls out this makeshift stake that's in his cane, and he says, and Gleason's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And George Wendt wakes up and it goes, "What?" And and Van Helsing goes, "What is necessary?" And just goes and kills the shit out of George Wendt. The cops all look around. And Paul Gleason's like, "Let's get out of here." And you, in the background, you hear a couple of cops say, "I didn't see anything." They all just leave. And so Malcolm McDowell ends up with the girl of the office, his love interest, who George Wendt was hitting on constantly. And she, in the very end, she says, "Make me a vampire so we can be together forever." And that's how it ends. With a happy relationship that is unimpeded by cops and George Wendt.
Right.
Okay.
Great episode. I've taken so much time up from this segment, though.
I can actually segue off of that because one of the things I watched, and it wasn't very much, I finally finished What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Which I know everybody else has seen, and I'm just
have not yet. I still haven't started it yet. It's on my list, but
it's worthwhile.
Dude.
So fun.
Yeah, it's worthwhile. You have to at least watch to the point where you get to the first Vampire Council, because that is so fucking amazing.
It is.
It is the best episode they ever did.
Yeah, it's the best fan service any fandom has ever received.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Without it.
I kind of liked how it ended. They did manage to resolve everything. I'm kind of surprised they resolved everything as well as they did after they went as far as they did.
Isn't that every season, though?
Is there going to be
unless they're doing a very overt cliffhanger? I don't think they're done yet. I've been wrong before, but I don't
they
think
still have
said it was the end.
No, they're contracted for like 2 more seasons at least.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Totally wrong.
That thing is a
thought this
money
was
bank right
seasonally.
now.
Oh,
Well, I
man.
think Disenchanted has totally thrown me as to, expecting end of series versus end of season.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I did watch
having,
that.
yeah, having just got through the last season of Solar Opposites, he's like, yeah, I have no idea if there's going to be another season or not. So
Me either,
Yeah.
but they did a really great job.
I
No,
didn't
they don't
really
even
like
need.
Solar Opposites, but I
You
haven't
don't.
seen this season. I haven't
And
seen this season.
Stevens is kind of a joy as
The way
as
they
Corvo,
changed the
but,
voice, I mentioned this last time, is amazing. It's just, or did I?
Well,
I
I,
know
me-
it was here last time.
I
You said it
mentioned it
for
for
me
you. Yeah.
because yes, that was fantastic when the way they did
So-
it. So yeah, voice change, Ray.
All right. Um,
They lost.
other things-
Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon both lost me on the episode of Rick and Morty that Elon Musk was in, because it was just so antithetical to everything Dan Harmon ever talks about, and it is a clear line where he made the decision, I'm not going to stand by my morals anymore. I'm going to make a shit ton of money. And it's more about that he dropped, like Spencer was talking all about how he dropped so many friends once he started hanging out with Elon Musk, and like
Really?
started hanging out with that circle. And somebody asked him why is he doing this, and Spencer responded, class hegemony, or class unification, something like that. The theory that people of the same class will always help each other. They will say they'll help the people under them, but it will always be in service to them. That class warfare, essentially.
So I've been
I can
going
see
through and I've been going through the Harmontown episodes. But I am years in the past, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that's coming. I've gone
Yeah.
I
for
don't
several hundred
remember
episodes at this
Elon
point.
Musk being
Harmon-
on Rick and Morty.
It was
Yeah.
in one of the heist episodes, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
it?
in?
It was a couple seasons ago. I think it was like season 5 or thereabouts.
It's the last episode I watched.
I didn't
I'd have to
notice,
go
so I
back and
didn't
look.
care.
It,
Yeah, I didn't notice
granted,
either.
it was before Musk had overtly metamorphosed into the abject prick that he has been presenting publicly for the last couple of years.
But he was still Edison 2.0.
Yeah, no, up to and including ganking the credit for the inventions he bought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like killing elephants.
that's not wrong. It was before he had morphed into full supervillainy. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So only 2 other things I watched. We had movie night, so I don't know if any of you remember this.
I've never seen it.
I've never
Seen it.
I might have seen it. I can't remember.
This is surprisingly good. I actually saw this in the theaters when it came out. It is a Sinbad movie. It is DreamWorks.
Okay.
And it is entirely forgotten, and I'm not entirely sure why. There is a little bit of damsel in distressing in it, but above everything else, animation fans should fucking love this, because one of the main characters, voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer, is Eris, the goddess of discord, who just decides to fuck with Sinbad's life. But her animation is so beautiful because she has very long black hair that is constantly moving around her like she's underwater. But she does a bunch of shape changing and going into smoke and stuff like that. And it is so aligned with all of her movement in that. It looks so beautiful above everything else in the film. There's a little bit of dodgy early CGI in some of the monsters, just a little bit, and it's not that bad. The writing is pretty fun. The characters are pretty fun, and there's a twist at the very end, which, if you sit back and think about it for a minute, you'll be able to see coming, but it's still pretty well done, pretty well put together. But it's just a straight-up pirate sailing the 7 seas, kind of makes good, and then has to decide if he's going to go with being good or being bad at the end. We all know how this is going to go. It's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
But it's really well done. And above everything else, the animation on Eris is kind of amazing.
I'm gonna give that
I
a
will
look.
check it out.
Yeah, I know. You have me. Yeah, you sold me.
I have no idea where you'd find it streaming, but it's got to be cheap wherever it is because
Probably
nobody
on
would
like
find
the
this
Freebie
fucking
or the
movie.
Tubi or one of those.
Yeah. And the only other thing I watched is actually a connection back to the low budget horror of this week. So I finally watched Blood Feast.
Herschel.
Nice.
Yes, Herschel Gordon Lewis. Is it?
Yeah.
Because I gotta say, I was under the impression, particularly Jenner, that you weren't a particular fan of Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Oh no,
Am
I'm not
I
a
wrong?
particular fan of Herschel Gordon Lewis. I just absolutely respect the contribution that he had to cinema history.
Yeah,
Also, by all
that's
accounts, the
exactly.
gentleman himself is an absolute mensch.
Yeah.
And of course, weirdly enough, he's although he may have actually acted as a force for societal ill, and that he's one of the grandfathers of the direct market, which is where he ended up making most of his money after he stopped making movies. Although he did a couple of new ones a couple of years ago that I still need to give a look to. I respect Herschel Gordon Lewis. I believe in Herschel Gordon Lewis. I don't especially like Herschel. I like Herschel Gordon Lewis much more than I like his films, if that makes any sense.
I observe his films in the same way I would observe art in a gallery. Like, it's important to film history and something that needs to be observed to have the film intelligence to understand references or things that came from it and that sort of thing. Plus, Martin Hill knew that dude and hung out with that crew and talked about those guys all the time. So I got to hear stories and shit about movies that they would make, and it was so phenomenal. It was so much fun. I remember none of those stories, but I remember being told them.
All right.
The adult brain.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
For those in the audience who might not know Herschel Gordon, I think Blood Feast is probably his best regarded work.
I think he may have a little bit more of a reputation with either 2000 Maniacs or particularly The Wizard of Gore.
I would have said 2000 Maniacs,
2000
is
Maniacs.
his most recognized movie, but Blood Feast is his most regarded, and I don't see it.
Well, no, Blood Feast was the first of them. That was its
Oh, it was the first. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Blood Feast, 2000 Maniacs, The Wizard of Gore, and then a bunch of other stuff. I still need to see A Taste of Blood, his 2-hour vampire movie. I've had a copy for ages. I've just never gotten around to seeing it.
I feel it's instructive at this moment just because in comparison to Troma, I feel like are a bunch of people without much skill and very little money doing their damnedest to make a movie. And Herschel Gordon Lewis, I feel, is a man who doesn't want to spend a lot of money and hiring a lot of people who are not professional actors and not particularly good at it, who just really want to make their money back.
He was an exploitationer from the get-go.
Yeah, he's the king of exploitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he has that moniker.
Yeah. I have I've actually seen the documentary that was done on him a while ago. I saw that before I saw any of his movies, and I have yet to see the original 2000 Maniacs. So, but I have seen the remake and the sequel to the remake, which are about as bad as you would expect. So, but this is, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. I was expecting more pageantry. But Herschel Gordon Lewis is not the sort of person to put pageantry into his films. If you can have a person who flees the cops by running across a bunch of lawns in a Miami suburb, he'll do that.
I feel like his films have an important place in film education in that if you don't watch them when you're in film school, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate their significance, but I can also appreciate I don't particularly enjoy them. In contrast, have any of you seen The Attack of the Astro Zombies?
Yes.
Oh, Ted V. Mickles.
Yes.
Ted V. Mickles actually believed in the shit he was doing. That's the weird thing about Mickles.
Yeah, and I will forever remember that the plot of that movie was somebody made solar-powered zombies that attacked at night, so they had to have batteries. And in one of the attacks, one of the zombies gets disconnected from his battery. So he's like, grabs a flashlight, plants it on his solar panel, and just flees across people's backyards. the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, and it is amazing. So it's just this guy in a zombie mask with a solar panel on his forehead, hold it like he's trying to be a unicorn, just walking across backyards in Miami.
Is like Mickles believed he was divinely inspired was the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, he was almost a literal cult leader. But I don't know. His stuff is odd, but it has a measure of true belief that Herschel Gordon Lewis never would have even aspired to.
Or pretended to. Yeah,
I mean, Lewis basically regards that particular aspect of his past and at relatively recent present mostly with amusement as much as anything else.
So
money on a movie.
Where would you guys place Neil Breen?
Neil Breen is an absolute true believer. Neil Breen is sui generis. There is no Neil Breen but Neil Breen.
His stuff is terrible, though, right? He's generally regarded as just like.
Oh no, he's incompetent beyond description, but he has passion that comes once a generation.
Okay, so the other day I got like 1,000. I got like 1,000 spam messages from the Charlotte film and video community stuff that they had gotten the famous Neil Breen to come speak and sign and screen one of his movies and sign copies of his work, and in the handout it is completely like 100% sincere. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
A week or two ago at the Plaza up in Atlanta, and it was sort of the same approach. He was showing the sequel to Twisted Pair, which I still need to hunt the new one up. But
even the freeze frame in the thing looks terrible. I've
never seen Neil Breen, but I have heard a lot about him.
I've only heard about him from How Did This Get Made? I don't remember which movie it was, but
they got made because Neil Breen had the money and believed in it. That's how it got made.
That dude has a 4-hour documentary series where he just talks about himself. It costs like $100. It's amazing.
Wow.
That guy is wild. I don't understand why they would pay him to be here. And
he's the Florence Foster Jenkins of genre filmmaking.
The really Florence Foster Jenkins. Yeah, I don't. I'm laughing because I don't know who that is.
Florence Foster Jenkins, subject of a recent biopic with Meryl Streep, was a terrible, terrible soprano. She was she believed absolutely in her absolute diva skills, and either nobody told her she was actually that bad, or she knew and she just didn't care.
It's a William Hung situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, the Charlotte film and video community is very happy to have Neil Breen speaking and showing his award-winning film. And a bunch of people in the film and video community who are still on my Facebook feed are like, this man is a master. He's brilliant. And I think that they're just the film and video bootlickers. Like, they're the Me Too folks. They're like, I want to make movies. I love everything that you're doing. And so they say they like something, whether or not they've participated or enjoyed it, because I don't see how anybody.
So is it conscious disingenuity or unconscious disingenuity? That's the level of meta we've reached at this point.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. It's so confusing. And I can't just respond. It's because you're being sarcastic because he's fucking terrible, right? And because they might get mad at me, but how do you? Oh, it's weird. It's weird.
I was about to say, how do you even couch that discussion in the first place? It's like, dude, seriously?
I think that's all you would say, dude, seriously.
But that's the thing is, you say, dude, seriously, and of course they're going to give you an equally ambiguous response, like, oh, what are you talking about, Nathan?
Yeah, yeah. You go to Neil Breen. Ironically, it's the only way you go.
Yeah, that is the only way to approach that. But he is sincere. If he if he has ceased to believe in what he is doing, I have not gotten that impression, but I am a number of films behind it.
He has not ceased anything. He's never stopped. And he
no,
never
he's still
will.
working. I just don't know if he's gotten that he's the joke yet.
Oh, of course not. He's a narcissist. That will never happen, ever. And
I'm an American.
Do you really?
I'm an American.
Do you really want him to become self-conscious?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, then we wouldn't have him anymore.
Exactly.
We got
have a Tommy Wiseau again.
Like I say,
we lost Tommy Wiseau.
And again, we're
woke up.
Yeah.
And again, we're in exactly the same boat where we were with Florence Foster Jenkins. Like I say, look her up. She's fascinating.
I mean, there's a movie about her, starring Meryl Streep.
Yeah, who actually can sing. Was just doing a very good job of making it appear that she couldn't sing.
I think she was nominated for an Oscar for that, because she gets nominated for an Oscar automatically. But.
You sang so poorly, so well.
Well, she did get a scene toward the end. She did get a scene toward the end of the movie where she actually got to sing like as her character, but if her character could sing well like Meryl Streep, which
that is a fantasy.
It felt a little bit self-serving on Streep's part, but even so. Also, a lovely supporting performance by Hugh Grant as her amanuensis. So look it up. It's interesting, and it's
a good movie.
Kind of true history as well.
Have we done everybody's what we've watched?
Oh, not even close.
Not even started.
I'm done.
Me neither.
All right, we should probably pick up the speed where we're closing in on when I have to go.
How many things do you have, Hsien?
2.5.
I have 3, so go ahead.
Okay, well, my half is I finished for the 3rd time season 1 of Disenchantment.
Right,
since I watched it initially, then I watched season 1 and 2.
Good work.
And then now it's years later, so now I'm starting over again, and I've forgotten everything. So it's like I'm watching. I've forgotten like 80%. But it seems like the story's just getting started. But
it is.
It might be good to just watch it all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, because, they are not forgiving of stuff that you may have overlooked in the chasms between seasons.
They actually joke about it.
They stopped doing previously ons after season 2.
Yeah, I'm going through as fast. I for some reason, because being Netflix, I was thinking there were like 6-episode seasons. I didn't realize they were all 10 episodes. So. Yeah. I've got a while to go, but I'm going through as quickly as I can. I also watch. I hosted a group watch on my Discord with some of my Twitch viewers. We watched Bodies.
Yay!
Which I enjoyed. Oh, well. Let me just prep. Who has everybody seen it?
I talked about it at length a few weeks back.
We talked about this a bit previously.
Yeah. I won't say too much. I loved the twist ending. I loved who the killer was. That's all I'll say about that. I did enjoy. It was it was very Zoomer. It's I don't really hang out with Zoomers, but when they start turning on each other inevitably, that's not really a spoiler. The way they talk is how people seem to talk on Twitter, and it it is very cringy. It's horrible to watch, but it feels very real to that generation, a generation that I admittedly am not super familiar with. There was a younger person, I think she was about 25, who was watching, and she's like, "Yeah, that's how we talk now." I'm like, "Oh, that's awful." But
see, I thought it was supposed to be millennials still, because millennials are all the way. Like I'm a millennial, but then millennials are also much younger than that.
Maybe those were Zoomer trash.
Those are okay.
Yeah,
I know millennials who are the same way.
I mean, the twist at the end, that is pure. That's Zoomer. I also like Lee Pace and pretty much everything he's been in.
Oh yeah,
great to see him.
I'll circle back on that.
I was surprised that this movie was made by a 45-year-old Dutch person.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting like a 25-year-old. I don't know. Anyways, I know Jenner was not a fan of that movie, right?
I think it is well done, and I don't like it one tiny little goddamn little fucking little bit. I've seen it twice now. I got it a little better the second time, but I still didn't actually enjoy it anymore.
Okay, I didn't love it. I think if it had a more traditional ending, if there had been, I almost said too much, I would have liked it less. But I was just so tickled by the ending that it recolored the whole movie for me because they set it up and it makes sense for the story and the characters in that world that would happen.
Yeah,
which was great.
Haven't watched it. Thank you for not spoilering.
Yeah. The other thing I watched was I finally watched Studio 666, the horror movie starring the Foo Fighters.
That's fun.
That's really fun.
I haven't seen it.
That's a good time.
Well, I will say it was fucked up watching Dave Grohl murder Taylor Hawkins because he just died last year.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he was the member of the band that Grohl was closest to. So this he must have died like 6 months after making this movie.
Yeah, we thought the same thing when we were watching.
Yeah,
it.
that was rough, but it's. I mean, I love the Foo Fighters. It definitely is for fans. They don't really explain the dynamic between the character or the characters. You just sort of know who they are.
I was totally lost. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I had to accept it just as they presented it to me. I guessed that there were jokes going on in there that I didn't get, but
yeah,
I don't know
some references to their dynamics, some of their discography. Apparently they shot this movie in secret. Apparently they recorded their latest album in that house, and it felt haunted. So then they just called up somebody and said, "Hey, let's shoot a movie here," and that's what they did. It was gorier than I thought. I was expecting like Scooby-Doo starring the Foo Fighters.
You know, it ended up as a fairly serious, comic horror movie.
Yeah, it was.
But it was definitely a horror movie, just with an emphasis on the comic.
A lot more gruesome than I was expecting. Wait, everybody seen it, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay.
well.
I'm not going to. I like the Foo Fighters. I love Dave Grohl, and that's all I really know. But I don't know any of the other people's names, and
I wouldn't worry about it. It's a fun little it's a fun little programmer. I don't give a crap about the Foo Fighters. They're fine. I like them fine. I like the movie a lot. Yeah.
It was fun.
I don't not give a. I don't like.
It's a fun little horror comedy.
I mean,
I don't dislike the Foo Fighters. I like the Foo Fighters.
Like Will Forte's in it.
Oh, I love him.
Jenna Ortega's in
it. I was just thinking about MacGruber the other day. Another terrible film that I love.
I love MacGruber. I saw that. I think the one time I saw it was in theaters. What else was Will Forte? Didn't we just watch a movie? Oh, he was in Beau is Afraid. That's why. I was thinking of him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was, and also, normally every year in October I do 31 movies in 31 days. I'm not going to do that this year. It's like too much. I'm going to do as much as I can. I was even going they all like blend together. I was going through I was making a list this year, and I was like, did I see that one last year or 2 years ago? I can't even remember anymore. They all just blur together, and
so
yeah, I should probably make a hard list instead of just doing it on my phone.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Jenner, how many things do you have to talk about?
3 things.
3 things, and then
I'm basically done.
And then we'll talk about what to watch next week. Which I have a pitch for that. So just
Well, okay. Okay, first off, aside from things that we already mentioned, I actually got through a fair bit of stuff this week. The big one I wanted to point to, because I basically marathoned it, was season 2 of Foundation. Speaking of the always wonderful Lee Pace, the first season, to be honest, actually dragged a little bit in spots. The second season is grand opera from beginning to end. I would almost look at it as kind of a reward for having gotten through the first season. Granted, it helps that we're not waiting for it on a week-by-week basis. So if you like that they took an extremely dry science fiction classic and sexed it the fuck up.
As I have heard. I have heard.
Yeah, Foundation may be your jam. And it, of course, that remains amazing character work by basically everybody, but especially, of course, Lee Pace and Jared Harris as Hari Seldon. So interesting stuff, especially if you like sexed up, heady science fiction.
Yeah, if you haven't seen *Halt and Catch Fire*, you should definitely watch that. Lee Pace, what's her face? Mackenzie
Davis.
They make that show so good. Those two.
And Scoot McNairy. Scoot McNairy.
I hate his character so much.
But he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's good though.
The acting is phenomenal.
I mean, how do you hate him but not hate Lee Pace's character so much?
Oh no, I do. I do hate Lee Pace's character, but he's not like he's like entertainingly shitty.
Yeah, Scoot is playing spineless.
Yeah.
Scoot is like, I don't want to work for you anymore. But I don't know. Anyway,
sorry. Yeah.
Marathon that series as well. Let's see. Because Ty has been going on about it, and as it turned out, I liked it, and it has a very, very odd ending. No One Will Save You, the alien home invasion movie from Hulu recently. Generally a good time. Nobody warned me, or at least I didn't find out until well after it was on my radar, that there is no dialogue whatsoever in it, which is an interesting piece of artifice. The ending is so freaking odd that it either indicates that the writer-director had no idea what to do at that point, or is lending itself to a much more nuanced level of layers of interpretation. In any case, I don't know if it's actually a good or like a well-done ending, but I quite like it, not least because the level of interpretation that it's open to. So an interesting picture, and again, if you have Hulu, you don't have to pay any extra. And finally, because this is a recommendation specifically to you, Hsien.
Me? Okay.
John Carradine, the director of Once, just dropped another movie on Apple TV Plus about musical performance called Flora and Son.
Wow. Okay.
You are going to like it. It is a nice movie. Apple TV Plus needs to get the fuck over both sides now. If it hadn't been shoved so much down our throat in Coda, I would have respected its placement in this a little bit more. But leaving that aside, it is a nice movie, and I think you will like it a lot. I don't even like nice movies, and I like this movie.
I still haven't seen Sing Street. I've seen Once, obviously. Then I've seen Begin Again, and have not seen Sing Street. Did not even know this was happening. So
yeah, no, like I say, this is a recommendation. It's a nice movie about a mother and her son bonding over learning to perform music. Like I say, I don't like nice movies, and I like this movie. So there you go. I will be pissed if it wins a Best Picture Academy Award, but that's, going back to Coda and really? Just really? Leaving that aside.
They've done that for like decades.
Yeah.
Crash.
Yeah, no, yeah. Anyway, so that was his recommendation specifically for you, Hsien. Although, again, anybody who's in the mood for a nice movie, which it was that rare phase of the moon that I was actually in a mood for a nice movie, that I ended up seeing it, I guess, last Friday, and so it's okay.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to renew my Apple TV subscription for All Mankind, and then I will also.
That is the way to do
that.
Yeah.
For All Mankind is not nice for a second. It's freaking great.
It's awesome.
So good.
Yes.
So good. It is my favorite show.
Cannot wait for that to come back.
One of my top 5 favorite shows.
It's way the hell. It's way the hell up there, especially amongst active current programs. So that was it.
Okay. Cool.
Apple TV Plus, good stuff on Apple TV. And give Foundation a look, if you have the time for it, while you have your subscription reactivated. In any case, first season is generally good. Second season tears it the fuck up. Right.
Cool. Well, why don't we start talking about what we're going to watch for next week?
You said you had a suggestion.
Well, I have a question for Hsien, because I don't remember this or not. Have you seen Suspiria?
I've not seen Suspiria.
Okay.
Either of them.
The original. It would be nice to do a double feature and talk about both of them on one episode, but
a major time commitment.
It is a major time commitment.
The new one's very long, right?
2 hours and 45 minutes, I think.
2.5 hours.
Okay.
Pretty damn close, anyway.
But Amelia has not seen Suspiria, and she would like to.
Okay.
So she might be on the show, is what I'm insinuating.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting.
About Suspiria.
Any chance to have Amelia on the program in any case.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Suspiria is one of my top 10 favorite motion pictures, and I actually really love Luca Guadagnino's film about Suspiria as well.
Yeah,
so,
but
I can't call it anything other than that. But
does anybody else actually want to watch Suspiria? There's like,
but it's okay. I
try to watch it every damn year anyway. So.
I was gonna say I can just not show up next week, and Amelia can.
There is a 5% chance she will actually make it.
Oh well. Well, hey, if everybody's into it, I'll do it.
I've seen both of them not too long ago.
We can wait on. Actually,
watching the two of them together, it really is more fun.
Yeah. But why don't we wait on?
I remember when we were talking about this a while back. We were thinking of having Hsien act as control group by watching the Luca Guadagnino's film about Suspiria, and then actually watching Suspiria. So doing it in reverse order. I think we had suggested that as an idea.
I can imagine that would be better. I thought that,
we were looking at you as a lab rat, basically, Hsien.
When you say the film about Suspiria, is that what you're calling the remake?
Means the remake of Suspiria.
I'm talking about Luca Guadagnino's film about Suspiria.
What he's saying is that he believes that the film is a film about Suspiria rather than being a remake of Suspiria, without telling you that.
He gets it.
Yeah. No, we don't have to do Suspiria. Let me confirm with Amelia first that she actually wants to do this again, because last time it was going to be Monster in the Closet, and she did not. She was like,
left.
Yeah, she just left, and she was like, I don't really want to be on the show tonight. I'm nervous and stuff. So it's possible she might not make it. So let's think about some other stuff. It has to be horror.
Ooh, I'm looking at my list. I am so I don't think Nate will be down for this.
I think we've all seen that.
I think we've all seen the Monster Squad.
Yeah. That movie has the F word a surprising amount. Not fuck, the other F word, a surprising amount.
Yep.
Really?
I remember having it on in the background with my friend. We were playing video games, and we kept turning back to the TV like they keep saying that word. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it was big in the 80s.
I am curious about Infinity Pool. I don't know if Nate would want to watch that. It's on Hulu, I think.
I own a copy. So
I mean, I wouldn't recommend against watching it absolutely the way that I would with Brandon Cronenberg's previous one, Possessor. I liked it tremendously, but it is not anything resembling a pleasant film.
Are there any classic slashers or something?
Well, I was going to suggest Antiviral, though I don't know if any of you would want to watch that.
That's been on my like I say, that's the Brandon Cronenberg I still haven't been getting around to, specifically because it was one of the first movies that I put on our list for our pile for this, and I'm saving it for you guys.
What?
Antiviral. Brandon Cronenberg's first film.
Oh.
I've still never seen Rosemary's Baby. It goes on my list every year. I just never get around to it.
I would be interested to talk about that one.
I'd watch it.
Nate's looking for like a classic slasher.
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something. I don't know, something mainstream.
Totally should have.
I got Hocus Pocus from the library because I've never seen it.
We're not doing Hocus Pocus.
We're not doing Hocus Pocus.
What else did I get from the library?
I'm sorry, Jane.
Hocus Pocus.
I like it.
Jess will be disappointed as well.
Hocus Pocus 2?
I've seen it.
I saw it. It's disappointing.
It was a bit.
I've never seen Death Becomes Her.
Oh, that's fun.
It's A24.
It's A24. It's slow as hell.
Wait, which one?
It takes some getting. It has the most freaking beautiful soundtrack.
But it's not a horror film.
It's a ghost story.
It's a ghost story. It's very slow.
That's horror.
Very slow. But
it also has this
slow stuff. I liked that.
It has this scene with Rooney Mara eating pie.
Amazing. Like 2, 3, 4 minutes of like the most horrible pie eating scene. Not like gross, but just sad.
What is the Brit?
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
What is the British ghost story film pseudo-anthology about a guy investigating various reported
Ghost
ghost
stories.
sites? Ghost
Go-
stories.
Ghost stories. Andy Nyman and those guys.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody seen it?
Yes.
Let me look it up because I know that I know
It
that
is
cover.
unnerving as hell. I don't know if I buy the ending. The ending felt a little underbaked.
I've
I had
read
trouble
Ghost
with the
Story.
ending.
Oh wait, this is
Everybody's seen this, right? I just happen to have it
Yes.
lying around.
Yeah.
Aosu.
No, I haven't.
Jane is not.
Ooh.
But I think it's only on Criterion Channel. It might be hard to find. I don't
I
know.
own a copy.
So do I.
I'm
own a
pretty sure you
Criterion
probably have it
copy.
in your Voodoo.
So do I.
And I've got a link to your Voodoo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a Criterion. It doesn't have the digital edition.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Oh well. Well, you know.
There is no way anyone else would want to watch this, but I love it.
Green Butchers. I don't even know what that is.
I don't think I actually know that one.
Yeah, this is the first time I encountered Mads Mikkelsen. It's Dutch.
what the? It's a horror film.
Wait, let me see what's on my list.
It's a horror comedy.
I get the feeling you're thinking like a Sweeney Todd type situation. Just
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
What's it called?
With
What's it called again?
Oh, the Green Butchers.
Green Butchers.
Butchers.
Green Butchers, yeah. Sorry, the letter G is in reach here.
Oh.
If I do a sort, we will slowly move towards the beginning of the alphabet.
Would you guys consider The Menu a horror movie? I loved the
No.
Menu.
I've seen
I think
it.
we've all seen the
We've
menu.
seen it.
I haven't seen the Evil Dead remake. I don't know if I want to see it.
I won't
What,
watch
the
it
20
again. I didn't like it at all.
I like the 2013 tremendously, but if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool.
Wait, which Evil Dead remake? Evil Dead Rise or Evil Dead?
Just Evil Dead.
2013.
2013.
I've seen
Yeah.
both. I've seen both, but
Anybody never seen Demon Knight?
I have.
It's been a while. I think I have. That's the one with
you've
Dennis
just got
Miller.
Tales from.
No, that's
No, that
Bordello.
was,
I do,
that was
I-
Bordello of Blood. Demon Knight was the Billy Zane one.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think
Billy
I
Zane and Jada Pinkett.
think I have seen that one too.
Saw that in the theater.
Mm-hmm. And yes, me watching
Anyone's-
Tales from the Crypt did lead to that.
I was going to say, has anyone seen the third Tales from the Crypt movie?
What was that one named?
Ritual. A very, very, very loose remake of I Walked with a Zombie. Unfortunately, the Luton connection is not enough to really save it, nor is having Tim Curry in it. It's just kind of meh.
What's it called?
Tales from the Crypt presents Ritual. It's in a lot of Echo Bridge box sets.
Oh boy, let's see.
Is it
Look at
a
my shelf.
2002 movie?
Yeah, I think it's kind of more interesting that it exists than anything about the movie itself.
No, I mean I cannot find existence of this movie.
You didn't see anything under Tales from the Crypt? Oh, I love The
I
Innkeepers.
think I've seen that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen
It's hard with horror. We've seen fucking
Sacrament.
everything.
I have not seen many, so
Oh.
I'm sitting there going, no. But
You ever see Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that
I know.
actually. That's fantastic.
I just any chance
I mean,
to
I've seen 2000 Maniacs. I've seen a bunch. It's not my favorite at all.
I'm not going to recommend anything Herschel Gordon Lewis.
I'm not.
I already
asking
subjected
to.
you to My Mother is a Werewolf. So let's see. Oh, everybody's seen Legend of Hell House, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that so much.
Yeah.
I
Great
love
movie.
that movie.
Yeah. You weren't even 5 foot tall.
He just mocks him to that's how they defeat the ghost mockery.
So great.
I've been playing Baldur's Gate with some friends online, and we all discovered that first level bard gives you an attack called Vicious Mockery that does 1 to 4 psychic damage. So we all took a level in Bard.
We had a guy in our group that had that for a while.
That's funny.
And like our characters all met in the first session, so he was using it on us as we met.
Yeah, I accidentally attacked a couple of people by accident in that game. I was like, hey, look, she looks like a devil, okay? She runs up, she's standing next to me, she looks like a devil, we're in combat, I hit her instead. Sorry.
I'm just looking at movies at this point.
So am I.
Like I said, I'm.
It really is hard to find a horror movie.
Other than me and oh yay, good luck finding it for streaming though.
Yeah, that is very good though.
Let's see.
Bend at the middle.
Jenner introduced me to that fairly early on, and it was fun.
You have any idea what this could mean to the field of science?
Have you seen The Lost Skeleton Returns Again?
Have I? No. Or did we?
I don't think. Yeah. No, I don't think we ever got to that one.
I mean, it's
yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Larry Blomeyer so much. Let me I mean, I'd be all for most of the things that we're talking about, but Lord knows I've seen all of them. Have any of you, other than Jane, seen The Cursed from last year yet?
I don't know what that is.
What is that?
The Cursed is sort of a werewolf movie. It's different from most werewolf movies. It's kind of like a werewolf movie. It's good. It's really, really good. And last I checked,
I've never seen it.
Fun, but
what is that?
That is a
Giallo. In a
giallo.
woman's skin.
The thing is, that's a giallo. That's not actually a horror movie in the normal sense per se. It's more of a I would love to see it. I don't actually have a copy, and I don't know where you could source it from, but that's an idea. But The Cursed is worth looking up. Last I checked, it was on Hulu, so it might be worth looking into.
It is not on Hulu anymore.
Oh, bother. Well,
but like anything else we've mentioned, it's on Amazon.
Hey, fair enough. How much is it running these days? Because that one I
like
recommend
$1.99.
highly. Yeah, that might be worth looking to. That, like, especially if you guys, you Matt and you Nathan, Bezner.
No, it is on Hulu.
Well, okay, there you go. As horror buffs, that is one that should have more reputation than it has. I know I mentioned it a bunch of the time back when I was still talking about we need to do something, which you also need to see, but which is, maybe a little bit more minor. I would stump for The Cursed if a majority of the team has not seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
I know we've seen it, but I don't remember.
It's a 19th century French werewolf movie.
Oh, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Different.
Actually, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
I don't want to spoil you anything about it. Suffice it to say, the way the monster works is one of the more interesting approaches to that kind of thing that I have seen ever. We're talking
better than Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop.
Sorry.
I'll put it this way.
Wolf Cop is awesome.
Look, Wolf Cop is fun. I'll put it this way. It's better than Hemlock Grove.
That's not saying much.
Well, no, in terms of the way that approaches the creature transformation.
I hated Hemlock Grove and everything about its style, script.
Yeah, I liked the way the werewolf would transform. I thought that was amazing. I remember waking Jenner up and going, "You got to see this! You got to see this!" And so yeah.
Right. In any case, let's do this. Let's do The Cursed. Was it 21 or 22?
Well, Hsien, are you? What do you think?
I mean, I have no idea what it is. That's fine.
It's good.
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
It's a neato period werewolf movie, werewolf-ish. And how often do you get that? This side of the Ginger Snaps prequel.
Yeah.
And Howling 5.
Which
Howling 5 wasn't actually period; it just felt like it.
Have you all? Where are we on Ginger Snaps with all of you?
I've seen
I've only seen the first
two
one.
of them, I think.
I
There's
saw
three
the
of them,
second
right?
one. I didn't remember it.
I think I actually showed you at least the prequel, if not the sequel. I think we saw all three of them though. It was a while ago.
I don't remember.
I've only
the
seen
first
the
one.
original and the prequel. Prequel's great, and the original is
Second is really underrated. Again,
I've
like
heard
I said,
that.
good luck at the sourcing on that one. That's it. Like I said, let's follow up on that one later. Like I want you guys to see The Cursed. I want to talk about that movie.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just letting you know that I think Ginger Snaps is still available on streaming.
First one.
I own
All of
Ginger
them.
Snaps.
Okay.
Yeah, I own all of them too, so I'm good.
Yeah, all of them are available on streaming.
I mean, I would cheerfully revisit all three of them.
Okay.
It'd be hard to talk about one of them without the other two.
Last thing I want to talk about before we go off to wherever, Tubi. I watched Monster in the Closet on Tubi.
Yeah.
And I never go on Tubi. I don't know what they have. I just know that they have free movies, and occasionally I watch them there, and the ads aren't too bad. I actually delved into the catalog, and holy shit!
Tubi's good. Tubi's got some neat stuff.
My God!
The recommendation was Slithis. I've been meaning to see that piece of crap.
Yes, I was shocked. I was shocked at how, so everybody else has all the name content and all that bullshit, but this has like classics, and it has hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
Tubi is.
I bet they got The Visitor down in there somewhere.
They have Invaders from Mars. It's just fantastic.
Great channel, doesn't cost anything. You get bonus features if you sign up, but you don't have to. It's neat.
Yeah. Also, when you're trying to get a screenshot to make your thing for the YouTube a picture, they don't turn off the video feed when you take the screenshot like some other streamers named Amazon.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I have such a. There's a handful of times when I've tried to pause the movie to like read something on the paper that the characters are carrying around or shit like that, and just pop up a time frame across exactly where I needed to read. Goddamn. Yeah. And then keep it there for 5 seconds after the pause.
Actually, I've gotten around that on Netflix. If you hit the back arrow, it'll get rid of that, and you have to go back again to get the titles up. I think on Amazon, I don't know if it's the down arrow, but there are ways around it.
There are ways. Amazon is kind of a weird service in its own right, because once upon a time it felt really good, but the autoplay for trailers with the unmixed loud MP3 audio has gone from being one of my favorite streaming services to one that I dread having to approach.
You never know what audio you're going to get.
I mean, the thing about Prime is I hold at this point that it's the one streaming service that is intended not to be watched, because it's basically a pack-in product that comes along with something else. So unless
they're going to raise the price on that.
Yeah,
unless they're pushing for
ads.
something. Yeah, unless they're pushing for something very specifically, like the Lord of the Rings TV series, which is its own whole nother rant. It's specifically designed for you not to actually have a comfortable experience watching it, despite having a lot of interesting content.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it this way. There's a Dead Ringer TV series with Rachel Weisz. Why have I not watched this yet?
Is that on Prime? Isn't that AMC?
No, it's on Prime.
It's on Prime?
That's on Prime. Yeah.
Oh.
And I have Prime. Why have I not watched it? What is it that about Prime that makes me just kind of dread delving into it? I don't know.
No, I agree with you. There is a distinct feeling you get when you're navigating Prime. You're like, I want to watch this stuff, but do I?
Not here. Yeah.
They make it feel dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we call it there? That's gonna do it for us. I made some changes to the website. Instead of having a separate website, I just have it whatsonthepile.com now redirect to the Punch Bunny website, and I'm just kind of putting everything together. So I'll do updates on that site, and so if you want to go to that site, it's fun. Like and subscribe, please. That's always fun too. We would enjoy it, and we love the commentary. And keep the comments coming, suggesting things. We do still need to watch Troll. It has been requested. We will do it. All right.